Nick Cage is going full daddy, and I think it's working for him. Is this working for him? If you're anything like me, you've seen this poster for the new movie Butcher's Crossing pop up somewhere on the internet, and I had a chance to check it out, so here's my review. Now, my favorite thing about Butcher's Crossing is that it has an interim agreement with SAG-AFTRA, which means that they have already agreed to all the things that the unions are asking for. And it means I get to talk about it. So the film starts off in a place that we've kind of been before. A young man from the East Coast travels west to find adventure and find himself.
Your father. I decided to leave Harvard.
But from there, it gets a lot more interesting. The film focuses on buffalo hunters in the waning days of the Old West when the buffalo herds were starting to thin and hunters were getting kind of desperate. Nicolas Cage plays one of these hunters, and he takes this naive young man from back east on an epic buffalo hunt into the wildlands. And that is where the film really starts going. Now, this is when you start to feel the full scope of this film because the cinematography is beautiful. I mean, it's hard to go wrong when you've got this kind of scenery to go with, but they captured it really well.
Biggest halls anyone has ever seen.
Now, what I noticed next, I was not expecting, because they actually start using horror tropes to create this feeling of foreboding and unease, and it ratchets up as the film goes on. It's really effective. The other thing that really struck me about this film is the way they depicted the buffalo herds. I mean, they got some amazing shots of what are clearly actual buffalo herds. This is not a lot of CGI. I was really curious, so I looked into it, and apparently the film partnered with an organization that manages the buffalo herd on the Blackfeet Nation's tribal lands. And of course, we gotta talk about Nick Cage, because at this point, Nick Cage is his own genre. Whatever genre you think your movie is, once Nick Cage gets attached to it, it is a Nick Cage movie first. And that can sometimes hurt a film, especially if it's dealing with a serious subject matter. But I found he really kind of sunk into this role rather nicely. Even when he starts going a little off the rails, it's not your usual Nick Cage crazy. It's a little more muted than that. It's nice. Unfortunately, there were a few things that I didn't like about the film. None of it really breaks it for me, but it's worth mentioning. The pacing in the film is a little uneven. It's really good up until about 2/3 of the way through the film, and then it feels like it hurries too much. My second problem is that there is one female character in the film, and she gets fridged hard. Like, they put a padlock on that thing, and it's really early in the film. I was a little disappointed with that. I was actually kind of surprised when I found out that they partnered with members of Blackfeet Nation, because they are nowhere to be seen in the film at all, and they're only referenced as kind of this dangerous thing to be aware of. Well, this has been a very long review, but if you stuck with me, I hope it helped. The film is already on a couple streaming services that I'm not going to name, and it's on wider release later this month. Thanks, bye.